Change has come to DC to appeal to our president and to the Congress to focus on human dignity apart from identity politics. America deserves to know there's more to the story when it comes to LGBTQ experience. LGBTQ is also becoming an ideological worldview that Americans must have the right to embrace or reject on the same terms as religion. Many, like us, have changed. We left LGBTQ because we wanted to, and others join us every day.
Homosexuality doesn't have to last a lifetime. All of us here prove that change is possible. The Equality Act is not about equality. The left is so good at misnaming things. The Equality Act has nothing to do with equality. It has to do with utter, absolute dominance. And what we are doing with that is that we are erasing the truth from our children. And we have a right to determine what happens to our children and to protect them from something that we know to be harmful. So I urge Congress not to take up this bill. I urge Congress to table this bill.
If we have the Equality Act passed, it will give unequal rights to a minority, taking away the rights of many, many more. I was sexually molested at 13, which led to anonymous sexual encounters with other males for approximately the next 30 years. I chose to leave that life, going into recovery for sexual addiction. I also became a born-again believer, and I have been following Jesus now for 51 years. By choosing to leave the gay life, by choosing to stop those anonymous sexual encounters, I was able to determine my own course of treatment, which others would not be able to do if the Equality Act is passed.
Today I stand before you a fully changed man, a faithful husband of almost 10 years, and a father of 3 beautiful girls. I'm standing here for the future of this country, a future in which my daughters, their future spouses, their children, and their grandchildren will have the right to publicly go to public schools without worrying about being sexually indoctrinated to believe that their daddy, their grandfather, was a hateful bigot for simply choosing to heal from his childhood traumas, and being willing to stand before you today fighting for people's rights to be able to do the same.
Let me be clear, government should not mandate what sort of sex ed should be received by students in public schools, and they should especially not tell children how they should form understanding of sexuality and sexual identity. Lastly, the government should not mandate how a child's parents should interact with their sexuality. The government's job should be to empower families to raise children well, not undermine the parental role by subverting and indoctrinating children at a young age.
H.R. 5, the Equality Act, threatens my freedom to offer the same pastoral counseling that I received, that delivered me out of sexual addiction, that healed the effects of abuse and neglect, that helped me live the life that I dreamed of living. Equality is never achieved by silencing another community. It's never achieved by persecuting another viewpoint, and specifically people of faith and conviction. The Equality Act does that.
This is courageous. These people are very courageous. If you're paying attention at all to what's happening in culture, then you know that these messages are countercultural and increasingly being disallowed, even in America. These are very important times. These are very important questions. America will make a dramatic turn in these next months and years based upon whether we choose to hang on to personal freedoms, rights of conscience, rights of freedom of speech, freedom of religion, or whether we go with a now dominating mainstream ideology. Any of you, raise your hand if you would be willing to force or coerce LGBTQ identified people to be like us or to follow our path. Not one. Not one of us is willing for LGBTQ identified people's rights to be taken away, or for them to be pressured or coerced or made to agree with us. You shouldn't have to agree with us. We don't want that for you. What we're asking is please don't take away our rights.
Yes, right.
Please let us determine what our sexuality is. Washington, take your hands off of our sexual identities. It's not your business. It's not my business to tell you how you should identify or what your life should be about or who you should worship or what kind of speech you should use. That's none of my business. Please don't oppress us. We have followed our convictions. We left LGBTQ because we wanted to.